Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and having a beautiful day, whatever you are doing in this beautiful world of ours. All right, so today I'm going to share with you how to make the disappearing chain block. And this is what the completed quilt looks like. This quilt measures 35 by 53, so it's not a huge one. It's a lovely size to sit and cover with on the sofa. So what I have done is taken a simplistic traditional block, chain block, and made it disappear. And we have gotten some secondary patterns. I did do a shorts on it, I'm sure I did, probably around 3 weeks ago. But I've only just completed the quilt. I had so many other things to do. But this is it. I was tempted to make a big one, to be honest, a bed quilt. And I think if you want to do that, you can. Obviously, it's your quilt. The blocks does come up very big and nice because the individual blocks themselves are large cuts. All right, so you will make it very quickly. I had fun making this. It's a scrappy one. Let's show it to you. It's a scrappy one. I am getting through my scraps, but I'm not even halfway there. Literally not even halfway there. But this is it. There's lots of colors in there. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please consider subscribing. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Karen and I make quilts very regularly. I upload 3 times a week and I enjoy the process. Okay. Right, so with that being said, have a good one. I will see you in the video. And any questions, jot them down below. I will be sure to answer. I always try my best to get to everybody's comments and or questions, or link a video if you haven't seen something. I know some of you have asked me to do a quilting video. I will do one at some point. I have just so many things planned already because I sort of make a list of the things that I want to do. So with that being said, let's dive straight into the video. I hope you enjoyed. As I said, let me know down below if this is one of the ones that you think you're going to try. All right, guys, bye for now and let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to make a chain block today. It's going to be a scrappy chain block. And we're going to turn it into a disappearing chain block. So I have my pieces here already. They are different pieces of scraps from fat quarters. So I've used a variety of fat quarters to make this. So whether it's, you know, a leftover fat quarter, etc. All right, so I've cut them into the variety of sizes that I need, and I'm just going to lay them out as a chain block. Now they're very, once you made a disappearing block, they're a few variations you can use to make your block. I think I'm going to start with the light one first and see what it turns out like. And I'm just going to use whatever I have really. I have chosen colors that complements the tones of the main block here. So I'm working with this as my main complementary factor for my additional pieces of fabric. And I'm going to go with that small one there, and that small one there. All right, so you can add any other color you want in there, for example. All right, but I'm just going to go with one color. What I did try to do is to use enough fabric that on this one here, this rectangular fabric here, in all 4 of the spaces. So if I had enough to go in those 4 spaces, that's what I used. I think that looks good looking at the camera. Let's try another square and see what that looks like. That looks beautiful also. That one, that's okay. It's not too far-fetched. Just look for something a bit more vibrant. That's good too. So it's complementary with all of the squares in the middle. Let's try the last one I have here and see. Even that works. All right, so as I said, I've consistently kept the blue rectangles. Let's try changing this one and see what it looks like there. That's okay also. That is also okay. That's okay. Now the reason why this block is called a chain block, because when you lay this block out all together, you get a chain reaction with these smaller squares, the big squares here. So it looks like a chain and the whole block is connected. It's a beautiful block on its own to make a quilt. I've always promised myself I will just make a chain block, but I've never done it. So, but I started to formulate this idea and I thought, what about if I make it a disappearing block and see what happens? So I think I'll go with the first variation. Even that one looks good. They all complement each other pretty nicely. And again, when I am choosing my scrap fabrics, I usually tend to look for similar colors within the main block. I always choose one fabric as my main piece of fabric I want to connect it with. As you can see, there's lots of blue and purple tones even with this one here, so it looks really nice. Okay, I was a bit unsure about this fabric because a lot of all the fabrics here that I have chosen is very texturized in terms of prints. So you've got a bit of a large print, so medium, very small, medium, so it plays with each other nicely. Usually they kind of fight, so this one works. So let's go back to this one. So I do like this one. However, I think I will remove the blue and stick with what it is on its own as I laid it out initially. So this is my chain block, all right? To sew, as usual, front sides together, front sides together. And because it's called a chain block, again, you can chain pieces quite easily and finish off the block very quickly, and is what I have been doing actually, to just simply chain piece. So let's go over to the sewing machine now and I'll demonstrate that to you. It's a good idea to lay the block out right next to the sewing machine so that you can follow the layout of the block quite easily. So if you can do that, get into that practice. This block is quite easy to mess around if you're not paying attention, especially if you're chain piecing a lot of them. So just a word of caution is to just lay it all out and just concentrate on how you're chain piecing. right, so to make any block disappear, it really depends on where you want to cut it. Now, I know some of you will probably never do this, on a whim, but I tend to try and have a go at it. Now, if I wanted to make this block disappear and make it less creative, I can just cut it down in the middle as a cross, and then I will have, like a 1, 2, 3, 4 patch here on each of the blocks, and I can turn them around. All right. If I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, I can probably cut from this point to this point here, okay, and give it a different, and I don't know what it would look like, okay, or you can go from point to point, which is what I did for this particular one. Once I cut it, what I did, this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to get some, I don't know, let's call them triangles. Now, when I did this particular block, to be honest, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just made it into a chain block, and I thought, let me try something different. So you can get separate blocks from each of the cuts. So this is one here. Okay, so one main block. So let's put it back together just so that you get what I'm saying. So this is where the block was together. All right, that is the actual block there. Okay, so once it was cut, you got 4 sort of triangles. So you could take that block and make individual blocks like so. So in one essence, you will be making yourself more blocks quite easily. So you could use that. There you go, you have 2 blocks with a lovely pattern together with it, so you get some nice on point. Okay, if you wanted to, you can swap some of those blocks around. It's rather interesting that I choose 2 with this particular fabric to demonstrate. Don't know why. Let's cut another one because I want something different. Let's cut the one I had originally. So from point to point, just make sure you line up the block. You want to make sure you're going through those intersections there and your ruler is angled at the top and both of the ends. You obviously need a sharp blade for this one. And do not move the block. Never move the block when you're doing a disappearing block. You move yourself or you move the mat, okay? I do find it's a bit problematic when you end up moving the block and then you have to find it back again. All right, so let's go back to what I was saying. And let's separate them. Okay, so if I choose another, so I can choose another block. Why did I go with blue again? What's wrong with me? So you get the idea, really. All right, so you can have something completely different and you get really beautiful secondary patterns with this as is, which I think is really lovely. And you also get more blocks to make your quilts, and you can separate each block with a sashing. You can turn the block on point. And I do feel that if the block is on point, you get a lot more buck for your money, in the sense that a lot more ideas on how the block comes about. It looks much more nicer, I think, if it's laid on point. All right, and what else did I come up with when I was messing around with that first block? You could also put the block back together the way it was. So for example, if I wanted to go with that one and that one, and I go with this one, so you choose one of each, and that way you get, let's do this and this. how many did I have? 3. And you can have a different block together. Let's have a look and see. I've got that one, that one. I'm going to put that purple one there. You can get a different block together, basically. So you have all those different colors coming together. All right. However, what I have decided to do, let's cut another one. And this is really what I do to make my quilts. I just spend time messing around with how I want the block to form, and then I would choose something that I think I'm happy with. There is no right or wrong way to come up with your block's orientation. It's really down to you. As I always say in my videos, that I do feel quilting is very much an art form, and it's all about your creativity and what you feel like. You know, so I would love to see when you use my ideas to make your quilts. I'd love to see what they come out like. Please send me a picture, guys. I would really love to see what you come up with. So play around with the actual ideas of the blocks. To me, that's the whole concept of it. Not just to keep it as is. You know, the more you mess around with it, the more variations you get when making your block. And look at that. It's a scrappy one, but it looks lovely. You know, and again, you can separate it individually or not. Now, what I thought of was to definitely put 2 blocks together. Or you can keep it one concept, and let's take these 2. No. Let's have a look. I'll go the purple one. And this is why it's important to cut all the blocks up. I've only cut, what, 4? So the more you cut, the more you can mix the blocks around, so that you have so much more visual. And I'm going to go, where is that other one? No. I go there and there. Very similar, but you get the idea. And I will take, I like this one. I like this one. That one, and I will go with, I just don't want to mix the colors back to the same colors. But once I'm sure you're getting the idea of what I'm doing here. Okay, so once you have made the big block, and this is what I am going with. So I'm making a big block. So this is going to be my block. All right. Now, what you can do, you can keep it scrappy, or what you can do is bring back one particular block in the middle, like so. Let's turn that back around. And where's the next one for this? One more. And put that one there. And you could then use, so you can use with just 4. And you can work with it like that. So you can just have one in the middle there, or you can have a mixture. I do like the idea of the one. So when you make your big blocks, you will have another secondary pattern at each stage. So this pattern will be repeated at each intersection on these corners here. Give it the fact that it will be mixed together. It wouldn't be one solid color unless you definitely go for it. What you also get is a diamond and point with the same colors here that you had with your original block. So this become your original block here. So if I were to remove this, you would see that original chain block. But because we have these here, it's disappeared, isn't it? All right. So ideally, you could say, right, I am only going to cut up a couple of my chain blocks, and keep one block in the middle, and then add a couple of my other chain blocks around it so that it gives you a variety of colors. Again, making it very scrappy. This looks extremely scrappy. All right, so hence the reason why I said if you want to use just one bundle of fat quarter, so then you can see that pattern repeated over and over. But I think for this particular disappearing chain block, I like the concept of the scrappy because I want the viewer of the block not to be able to know where that chain block is. Okay, guys? All right, so I've got lots of extra binding already made. Well, I should say 2.5-inch strips. So I'm just going to use it on my scrappy quilt, to be honest. I'm going to start with one color and end with the other. So that's what I'm going to do. I already have it. I don't see the point in making one whole color for binding if I already got strips cut. It's already a scrappy quilt, so I'm going to justify it by that. All right, so this is now completed. This traditional chain block has now been turned into a disappearing chain block, where you no longer is able to see all the connecting chains. Nevertheless, the scrappy effect has given it a really beautiful outcome with all of the blocks. Looks really beautiful, I must admit. With the binding, I did different colors, as I told you a moment ago. As you can see, it all changes. On this side here is blue also. For the actual quilting pattern, I just did a simplistic meandering. Isn't the fabrics beautiful? Just looking at it close here. I've even used Christmas prints on there. I mean, for me, when it's a scrappy quilt, every fabric gets a main feature in the quilt. I am not biased as to what fabric I actually use. And I think when you use Christmas prints, it really just brings it all together. Somehow it works, you know, because sometimes you don't realize it's then like, oh, that's Christmas fabric, but it works. It's beautiful. All the colors complement each other. It's balanced. It's not unbalanced in any way, shape or form. It's just a lovely quilt. It looks really stunning on the chair here. It's laid out really beautifully. And it's just so gorgeous. I must admit, it's lovely. It's a nice little quilt. On the back, I just did stripes fabric at the back, and you can see all the stipple in there. On the small binding that I did, I used a wishbone pattern there for quilting. But overall, very beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous little quilt. Disappearing chain blocks. So if you're interested in making this pattern, the link for it for my website will be in the description box down below, and you can have yourself some fun. You can make it scrappy, or you can use any colors that you like. Look at the difference when the blocks come together. You get a secondary pattern there. Just looks so stunning. Really, really happy with the outcome. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and give me a thumbs up for this one. Let me know what you think of the disappearing chain block, and let me know if it's something you can actually do. It's very beginner friendly. It takes its efforts from the traditional chain block, but as you know, we've changed it into something else. I'm just loving when the patterns come together, when you get that secondary pattern there. Just so, so, so gorgeous, so gorgeous. Bye for now. Happy quilting, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.